Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm excited because I've got a really cool guest today. Going to be visiting with Lisa Alexander. I think I got the name right. I have this written in my handwriting. So, Lisa, if I said your name wrong, I'm sorry. But she's got a product that's called the OWL, and that stands for, what does it stand for? Anyway, I'll tell you what it is. It stands for something, too. It's a little device. I showed you the video when I was looking at this. A little plastic thing that you stick in, like, the window crack, and you pull it back, and it shatters your window if you get stuck in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then it also has, like, a little blade in it that you can cut your seatbelt. So this was a device that was designed because she saw an accident that happened in her neighborhood where the person couldn't get out of the car.
Right.
And it became a fatality. So I'm really looking forward to visiting with this young lady that said, hey, we got to come up with a better solution. So if you've ever even thought, what would I do if I got stuck in my car? Be listening, because we're going to learn about the OWL, and then we'll tell you what that stands for. It does stand for something. Yogi Berra's got our quote today. Yogi said, hey, boo-boo. No, wait, that's a different Yogi. He said, if you don't set goals, you can't regret not reaching them. So there you go. Thanks, Yogi. All right, coming up, some more fun stuff to get to. It's all on the way. Thanks for listening.
John and Heidi.
Are you paying a bundle to the cable company? Cut the cable and save with the all-new ChannelSurferTV.com. We've added several solutions that could save you money every month. We have dish TV options and internet TV solutions that start from just $20 a month. We even have an HD TV antenna for $30 to get the local channels with no monthly fee. Learn more at ChannelSurferTV.com. We'll do our very best to find the perfect TV solution for you. ChannelSurferTV.com. Movies and TV with a low monthly fee. That's ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, October the 18th. It is Healthcare Aid Day, and that's in a couple of different countries. It is also Alaska Day in the United States of America. I believe it was on this date that we accepted Alaska as a state. So I think that's why it's Alaska Day. It is also a really fun one that I think we should celebrate. We should find a way to celebrate this one, Heidi.
Okay.
Chocolate Cupcake Day.
I'm fine with celebrating that.
Yeah.
You don't have to twist my arm.
We actually have chocolate cupcakes at our house right now.
We do.
We had some folks over this weekend, and one of those people brought cupcakes. Kim, thank you for doing that.
Yes, she did. They are yummy.
I have not participated because I'm on a diet, but they look delicious.
I've eaten yours.
Thank you. Celebrate today on Chocolate Cupcake Day.
John and Heidi.
Here's Luca from Luca's Boutique. Tell us about the items we'll find at Luca's Boutique.
We have 100% Italian design and Italian made leather goods, artisanally made by artisans, for example, that are commissioned by Gucci, Prada to make bags. We use the same artisans because we know them.
You'll love the fine Italian styles at Luca's Boutique. Leather purses, belts, and more. Learn more at fineitalianstyles.com.
This is Luca from Luca's Boutique, and we have fine Italian styles.
fineitalianstyles.com.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we're going to have your brain on drugs, but first, take a listen to this. The latest study finds magic mushrooms. Those are like the mushrooms that you take, psychedelic mushrooms.
Okay.
They are capable of resetting the brain of depressed people. So they're saying, hey, we need to find out how we can utilize these for good, because there have been people utilizing them to, make themselves happy for a long time. Now they're saying, hey, there might be something to
I got to
that.
reset it permanently?
Well, I don't know. I didn't read the study. I just thought that was interesting. And we'll get to your brain on drugs coming up.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. Lily Belendos, I probably said that wrong. Sorry, Lily. She's 27. She and her accomplice, Melissa Mimitz, age 27 also, they were caught following a robbery, all because Lily left her resume behind. What? The two were posing as workers for a cable television company.
You mean they were caught after a robbery?
Yeah. What did I say?
You said, well, they were caught following a robbery.
Okay, so
and
they
you
were
paused,
caught.
so I thought they were following some robbers
No,
around.
they were caught after they robbed a place.
Okay.
Sorry. They were posing as workers for a cable TV company, and the women's the women's daughter had requested service, according to their story. Once inside, they tied the woman to a kitchen chair and pepper sprayed her until she told them
Holy
where
cow.
her money was. The woman broke free and went to a neighbor's home and called 911. The robbers got away with $8,000 in cash, several bottles of prescription pills, and a key to the woman's safe deposit box. Police arrived during the investigation. They found a resume that belonged to one of the ladies. Took a couple of weeks, but they were able to arrest her in Connecticut, charged with 7 felony counts,
Whoa.
including home invasion with a firearm, armed and masked robbery with a firearm, and kidnapping. Police are still puzzled why she left her resume behind.
Why would you even
Don't
take
know.
it with anyway?
Why would you do that? That makes no sense. I don't think that was planned. But this is on our brain on drugs because they were in there stealing money and also drugs. They were after the prescription drugs. So there you go. Kids, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen. One of my favorite breaks lately, by the way, because we've had some fun things to talk about during this break, like this. Happy Death Day was the winner at the box office. This is one that our son has said he would like to see. My wife over here, Heidi, said she would like to see, and I would also like to see, because I'm a big fan of the movie Groundhog Day.
I think it's going to be like that.
I know, but it was advertised as like a scary version of Groundhog Day. This is a movie where a person dies, and then every time she dies, she wakes up alive again and lives that day over again and keeps getting killed, and she's trying to solve her own murder. Sounds like an interesting idea for a movie. Anyway, they did well at the box office, $26.5 million. That was number one at the box office. Speaking of the big screen, Deadpool 2 has wrapped up production. Ryan, what's his last name?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. There we
How
go.
could you not know that?
I just, my brain quit thinking for a second there. My wife over here just thinks he's dreamy.
Oh
so
my gosh.
I don't
that
care
man.
what he's in. We're going to go see it because she likes him. We even went and saw Voices. Ryan Reynolds, you owe me $10. Just saying. That was such a weird movie. Deadpool 2 wrapped up production. Ryan Reynolds, it's right in the story if I would have just kept reading. Ryan Reynolds delivered the news on Facebook, complete with a small batch of behind-the-scene photos. So if you're following him on Facebook, like I'm sure Heidi is, you probably already know all about it. Okay, our big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Movies and TV with a low monthly fee. That's ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. Call 800-430-8328. 800-430-8328. Drug Watch Hotline is a marketing firm that represents lawyers jointly advertising their services. By calling Drug Watch Hotline, you agree to receive calls by legal service providers.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. This is a kind of an interesting story here. A flight attendant by the name of Michelle Flores was caught in the middle of 2 tragedies in 2 weeks. Michelle was at the Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas on October 1st. She made it out safe. She fled the gunfire that killed dozens and wounded hundreds. Well, then she gets home to Santa Rosa, California, and her home was destroyed by that wildfire.
Holy cow.
I know. So she's like, I can't even turn on the news without it being something that I'm connected to these days. So that is kind of crazy. Now, the only way that it would be even more interesting is if somehow she was tied to Harvey Weinstein as well. But, she's not. Thank goodness. I'm not saying that I'm wishing that on her. I'm just saying that that's the other big thing that's in the news. So sadly, she was involved in 2 giant tragedies that are both going on in 2 different states. We just talked like a week ago. One of our fun facts was about a guy who was in, whether you say Hiroshima or Hiroshima, however you say it, he was there and survived the bombing. And then he went to Nagasaki, where he lived, because he was working in one, and then he went home to where he lived and survived that bombing, and he lived to be 93 years old. So he, was at 2 different things, and so this lady kind of has that type of thing going, where she was at this, and then she gets home, and her house is burned down, and you're like, wow, any more bad news for me? So, you ready to move on?
Ready.
Okay, you kind of look like you're ready. She started checking text messages, so it's a pretty good sign she's ready to move on. Hey, if you think about it, a lot of what living is all about involves evaluating situations and then making the best decisions that you can. And also maybe reading things properly, which I just messed up. Not elevating, but evaluating the situation and then making the best decision you can make. Now, there's an old gentleman in Nottingham, Maryland, failed pretty dramatically by this definition since he crawled onto the hood of a middle school bus while it was moving, and then he was screaming at the driver, trying to get him to stop. And there's a video. I've got the video on our Facebook page. Have you seen this video at all?
No, I haven't.
Now, they started videotaping after he was on the bus, so you don't know what led up to it. But they say what led up to it was somebody allegedly threw a bottle from the bus at this guy's house. So this guy got upset, and
Yikes.
apparently this has happened before. So he went out and tried to...
Somebody drives by their house repeatedly and throws bottles at his house?
It's a school bus. This is a bunch of kids, a bunch of hooligans on this bus. So the school bus was driving by, and somebody chucked a bottle at this guy's house, and this time he said, enough is enough. And he tried to board the bus, and the guy wouldn't let him on. So then he jumped in front of the bus, and the guy kept driving, so he jumped on. He was literally like standing on the bumper, pounding on the hood of the bus in
I
this
wonder
video.
if it was the bus driver that was throwing it at his house.
I don't know. All I know is that was, and he was saying, I'm going to call the police, and the guy in the bus was like, please do. I'm going to call the police. So it doesn't say, because the video stops, it doesn't say if the police came, if the guy was arrested. I mean, I have no idea what happened, but it would be nice to know, because it's just really interesting that, that's the end of the story.
Huh.
But the good news is that's not the end of our stories. I got one more here about a Scottish terrier named Fallon, F-A-O-L-I-N. How would you say that? Phelan?
suppose.
Fallon? Anyway, it's a Scottish terrier. It's a little puppy dog. Has been added to the staff at the library at State College, Pennsylvania. Now, his job is to help kids develop their reading skills by simply being a good listener.
Aw,
How cool is that?
sweet.
Now, we have 2 dogs. Our dogs would be awful at this job.
Our dogs are not good listeners.
They're not good listeners, and also they're not too good. Although Miley isn't too bad. She becomes catatonic when kids get around.
Yeah, she won't move at all.
She pretends like she's just a stuffed animal, and then they'll pick her up, and she literally doesn't move. She doesn't even blink. And then as soon as all the kids leave, she's like, oh, thank goodness. What were they doing here? So anyway, they have this dog working at the library. I think that's cool. I wonder how they pay the dog. You think the dog gets
treats.
Like dog treats?
Lots and lots of treats.
I don't know. So they're gonna have to. That dog's going to get in the union and demand better treats. Can't wait to see where this goes. All right, coming up, we've got a special guest. We're going to be visiting about a life-saving device called the OWL. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Your credit score really matters when it comes to credit cards, home loans, and car loans. It makes a big difference in whether or not you qualify for the best rates or even get the loan. But did you know that your credit score can also affect the price when you get your insurance too? Many people never even check their credit score, but sadly, errors happen all the time. CreditRepair800.com would like to help you repair your credit and make sure you have the best possible credit score. Get the details on how our program works at CreditRepair800.com. That's CreditRepair800.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us right now, Lisa Alexander, and she is the co-founder of a company that has a really cool product. It's called OWL. Now, OWL stands for something. It stands for Open Window for Life, and this is a safety device. Lisa, how are you doing today?
I'm good, John. How are you?
Really good. I saw this online. A person shared this, and I just thought, what a cool idea. This is not a huge device. It's kind of a small device that you could keep in your car. And then if you get trapped in your vehicle, there's a thing on here that you can use to cut your seatbelt to get unhooked. You can use this OWL to shatter the window, because that's where people have issues. They get stuck in there, and they're like, how do I get out of this car now? The window's, the door's bent, the window's jammed, and I can't get out. And this little device you guys have, how in the world did you come up with this device?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's a great question. Actually, there was an incident that happened about 2 years ago near where we live. I was actually watching national news, CNN, and this heartbreaking story was on of a woman, Chanel Anderson. She was delivering papers in her SUV in the dark and got lost and went off into a pond. And she called 911, and heartbreaking call. They couldn't locate her quick enough, and the story was a tragedy because they couldn't get to her in time. And there she is on her cell phone pleading for them, 911, for them to come and rescue her. And at the end of the story, it says Alpharetta, Georgia. And I couldn't believe that this happened just a few miles from where we live. It happens all over the United States, all over the world, unfortunately, all too often. But I replayed it for my husband and said, this happened, 3 miles down the road. And we both were absolutely heartbroken, and the focus of the story was really why it made national news was because it was about the maps, the 911 maps not being updated and not being able to reach her in time. And I was thinking that to me is a great thing to focus on. But what could Chanel have had in her own hand that would enable herself to get out of the car? And her cell phone wasn't the answer. A cell phone doesn't break safety glass.
No.
Almost nothing does. There are tools that people have, large hammers. Back in the day, they would come in kits, and they'd all too often be in your trunk or in your glove compartment. You couldn't reach it, and then there's some other type of bigger objects or things that hang from your keychains. But she didn't have anything with her. Her cell phone, right in her hand, couldn't break that window. So what could be flat, the size of a credit card, and easily accessible? Recommended distances within that 8 to 10 inches from you, from the driver, the passenger. So I showed it to my husband, and that's what we thought about for a good long time. And he, being an engineer and an inventor, worked pretty hard to figure out a way that something the size of a credit card, flat, that you wouldn't have to use energy, you wouldn't have to pound the glass like a hammer, could work. So we came up with OWL, Open Window for Life. And basically, you see it. It's the size of a credit card.
Yeah.
It does all the work for you. You keep it right on your visor. Comes with a little case with a peel-off strip, 3M sticky on the back, and it adheres to your visor discreetly, and it's just there if you need it. So if sometimes power fails, that's a big thing these days with electric cars and driving through puddles or new and old cars, the power fails. So you're stuck in your seatbelt and it jams. So within reach, right on your visor, you can grab the OWL, and it's got a little integrated recessed seatbelt cutter.
Yeah.
And you would slice your seatbelt, and then you just take the card. It sounds so simple, and we've got plenty of videos, so you can see it work. People think it's a magic trick, but it's not. You take the thin card, you put it up into the upper window channel, and as far as it goes, and then you pull back. It snaps. It's basically acts as one big spring.
It's fun to watch the videos because it's amazing to see something so simple make such a big difference. And I think that's the cool thing. When I saw this, I was like, I want to reach out and talk to these guys because it is such a cool idea. Thank you for being concerned when you see this video and something happen literally close to home, geographically right in your neighborhood. And you said, how in the world could we have helped prevent this and give her a tool that she could have in her vehicle? And I know what you're talking about, the hammers. I've seen people do those at Christmas time. They'll give those as a gift. And where do you put it? In the trunk of the car. Well, you're not going to be able to get to it in an emergency if it's in the trunk. You can't have some big bulky thing bopping around in your vehicle, but something simple like this where you have this adhesive, you can stick it right to the visor. It is literally within reach when you need it. That is the brilliant part of this.
Yeah, it is. It's that delivery system. It's a different world. It's kind of, I don't know about your car, but my car starts with a button now.
Yeah.
And there's less and less there's keyless ignitions. So people don't even carry keys. And for many years, and I think they're still out, there's things that you can attach to a keychain. But, we're going to a format that you don't need a key to get in your car or start it. And women kind of don't like usually things that jangle from the keychain. And then the hammers, you're absolutely right. We've been to a number of safety conferences, highway safety, and EMTs will tell you can't have that hammer, just floating around your car. If you do get into an accident, it actually becomes a flying weapon.
Yeah, I remember watching, there was a guy, it's a video, it's actually a very funny video of a newscaster in a junkyard. They were trying to show just how easy it is to break into cars and steal radios, and he was out there. He kept hitting the glass with this is a construction hammer, and he kept hitting the glass with his hammer, and he couldn't get it to break, and it became a viral video because of the epic fail of him trying and trying and trying, and he kept saying, it's just this easy, and he would hit it, and it wouldn't work. So there's like 15 or 20 takes of this poor kid trying to break this window, and that's with a giant construction hammer. So, that's why I was so amazed when I'm watching the video here and I see this little tiny thing about the size of a credit card, and you pull back and release, and the thing just shatters. I'm like, and I've not seen him try it like 10 times in a row. Does it typically work on the first try?
It works always on the first try. It actually, it's that's the cool thing about it. It works on physics, and it doesn't take any strength to use. So if you're, you don't have to, unlike a hammer, you don't pound it. It actually works the opposite. The card does all the work. What's breaking the glass is it's a stainless steel disc with a hardened tip. It's almost a hardness, just a couple of points less hard than a diamond.
Oh, wow.
This little tip positioned in exactly the right, strategically positioned at the right part on the card, that it breaks the window with a snap. We say it works with the flick of your finger, because it literally, you put the card up into the upper channel of your window that every single vehicle on the road has, and that kind of braces it. That holds it in place. Then you take two fingers and you flick it forward, and the metal tip hits the glass, and it does all the work. It's actually at least 5 times stronger than any type of spring-loaded device out there. It does all the work for you. So it has no moving parts, which is a real comfort, because in these type of situations, you don't want anything to malfunction.
Absolutely.
There's no moving parts on it that can, possibly jam or stick. So the card is actually, and that metal tip, doing all the work for you. And you're right, it's not about might, these big, strong men. We have a video on our YouTube channel that shows a unfortunate accident that happened last winter in Spokane, Washington, and luckily the cop was near the woman that her car died going through a puddle, and the trunk was on fire, the engine, and he got there and he's pounding and pounding. He's wearing a vest cam, and it shows the whole, honestly, several minutes of him pounding the glass until it finally broke. So it's not about might. It's really about the way it hits the glass, the exact way. So, yeah, exactly. So, and it's not sharp. This point, when people buy them or get them, it's not a sharp point that hurts you in any way when you touch it. It's actually the design, the exact design, and the disc that does all the work. And comes in a little holder, and the seatbelt cutter is a cool design too. It's very small. Just really intricately designed that it'll glide through your seatbelt. And if you have any little kids, I was going to say that about the hammer. That's the other thing, moms that have young kids in their car, you don't want a hammer for that the kids can reach. And if by holding this card, it's not a large opening where you or children can stick their fingers inadvertently in it and get caught. So it's recessed.
Nice.
And it's just basically a pretty nice card just to have for peace of mind. And we honestly think everyone should have one on their visor.
Well, I agree, and this is a neat idea. And now, where can you buy these? Do you get these in stores, or are they available only on your website? Where can I find one?
Oh, thanks for asking that. Yep, you can buy them on our website, which is called OWL, O-W-L, Open Window for Life, or even Open Window for Life. We also call it owlangel.com. We have a whole bunch of URLs. But you can purchase a single owl or a 2-pack, and because they're a great gift, obviously. They're for everyone that you love. And it comes with a green holder or a pink holder, silicone holder, and Amazon, of course, and then different retailers throughout the country where people shop. So Lily is one, and we're just setting up new distributors all the time. But a real easy way, and there's a no shipping code on our website, and most people can get free shipping on Amazon. So we try to make it easy for everybody to purchase.
Well, it's fantastic, and I think it's a great idea. Thank you so much for doing what you guys are doing. I think you're saving lives here. So, Lisa, thank you so much.
Thanks, John. Appreciate talking with you. It was great for you to have me.
Absolutely, and this is something I do think everybody should have one of these in their cars. And if I was a car dealer, what I would do is I'd get these things and I would give them. With every purchase, I'd have these go out the door with every car. Just a great idea, and it's a cool thing that you can stick right on the visor and be there. It's there in case you need it. Hopefully, you never ever need it. That'd be fantastic. But if you do, wouldn't it be great to have it?
And you can't buy it the day you need it. I'll tell you that.
No,
so
that's the thing. You got to have it ahead of time.
It's exactly right. Yeah, like I said, we hope that everybody it becomes just that everybody has OWL on their visor within reach. They don't even think about it, but they know it's there just in case something should happen that you get trapped in your car. It's such an easy way out for you.
Well, we're going to put a link on our Facebook page to make it really easy to find. It's called the OWL. That stands for Open Windows for Life. Open window for life. So that way, if you ever get stuck in a vehicle, you use this little owl to help you escape. And it's a cool idea. Again, I've got a link to it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
Are you paying a bundle to the cable company? Cut the cable and save with the all-new ChannelSurferTV.com. We've added several solutions that could save you money every month. We have dish TV options and internet TV solutions that start from just $20 a month. We even have an HD TV antenna for $30 to get the local channels with no monthly fee. Learn more at ChannelSurferTV.com. We'll do our very best to find the perfect TV solution for you. ChannelSurferTV.com. Movies and TV with a low monthly fee. That's ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
On a 1999 episode of The West Wing, Nick Offerman, he's Ron Swanson in the thing, played a man lobbying the White House to build a $900 million wolves-only roadway. So everybody knows him as Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
He was on, in 1999, on an episode of The West Wing. That was like his big breakout role. He was trying to get a $900 million wolves-only roadway. So,
wolves only?
Yeah, for wolves. A roadway for wolves.
All right.
Apparently, he did not get that pushed through. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The medical term for ice cream headaches is, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Sphenopalatine
Of course it is.
ganglioniregaya.
Yeah, I'm sure you nailed that.
I'm going to just keep saying ice cream headaches, which, once again, I have to admit, because this is such a weird thing to admit.
It is so weird that you like them.
I actually do. And it's not the ice cream headache itself. I want to make sure you guys understand. I'm not nuts. I don't like ice cream headaches. I like the moment right after it goes away.
Ugh.
It's like euphoric. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. Like that feeling when it thaws and then the blood rushes to your brain again.
So weird.
I don't know. So there are times I purposely give myself
I hate
an ice
those
cream
things.
headache.
Oh my gosh, it's awful.
And then for a second I'm like, oh, bad idea. Oh, that feels so much better. And then
it's so weird.
And it makes my headache go away. Like if I have a headache, that like gets rid of my headaches. I don't know how to explain it other than it's time to move on. That was a fun fact. A couple of them, courtesy of CreditRepair800.com. I'm sure they're ecstatic to be attached to this one today. CreditRepair800.com.
Are you struggling with addiction or alcohol problems? If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help, and your insurance may offer coverage.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares. Call 800-438-0380, 800-438-0380.
Are you ready for the word of the day?
I am ready.
You've heard of this one. Litigious.
Yes.
Litigious. It's an adjective. Having a tendency to engage in lawsuits.
Yes.
Here's our phrase for the sentence, whatever, using the word in a sentence. The United States has become the most litigious society on earth, with people suing for even the slightest perceived affront.
Yes, they do. It drives me crazy.
Okay. They use
some of the ridiculous lawsuits.
Slightest perceived affront in the sentence. Can you tell me what affront means? I don't get that. I do know what a litigious means because I've heard of people who are very litigious. They're like, oh yeah, be careful. They're very litigious. We're not really litigious people here. I mean, we're involved in a lawsuit right now. Not that we want to be, but we have to be. It was something we had to do.
Right.
So I've never sued anybody in my life up until this point. So
it's not. I don't intend to do it again.
No. So I don't think
it's not fun.
I don't think you could refer to us as litigious people, really. But what you can refer to us as weird, because we have weird news coming your way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Here's Luca from Luca's Boutique. Tell us about the items we'll find at Luca's Boutique.
We have 100% Italian design and Italian made leather goods, artisanally made by artisans, for example, that are commissioned by Gucci, Prada to make bags. We use the same artisans because we know them.
You'll love the fine Italian styles at Luca's Boutique. Leather purses, belts, and more. Learn more at fineitalianstyles.com.
This is Luca from Luca's Boutique, and we have fine Italian styles.
fineitalianstyles.com.
Now some weird news for you. Cigar smokers, listen up. How much would you pay for a cigar? How about $12,000?
No way.
Yeah, and this is one you're not going to smoke either. Let me explain. A half-smoked cigar that was half-smoked by British Prime Minister Winston Churchill.
Okay, I could see somebody doing that.
During a 1947 trip to Le Paris, has sold for about $12,000 during an online auction. It is a 4-inch cigar. It was bought last Wednesday evening, so about a week ago now, by a collector from the Palm Beach, Florida area. The buyer's name is not being released. The auction company says Churchill smoked the cigar on May 11th, 1947 at the Le Bourget airport. Am I saying that right?
I have no idea.
He smoked half of it and then left it there, and somebody picked it up and said, I bet I could sell this in 50 years on eBay when that exists. Or maybe it wasn't eBay. It says an online auction, so I don't know where it was, but that's kind of interesting. I don't think I'd want to buy that, but I do have a link to the story.
I don't know how you would prove without a doubt that belonged to him after
DNA
this much
evidence.
time. That's ridiculous.
I don't know. They probably had a photo. Maybe he wrote a note. Thanks for taking my cigar that I was smoking at the airport. I have no clue. All I know is I've got a link to the story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Some weird news right there, brought to you by RadioSavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, and it is a toss-up today. I have like 5 different stories that we're set for a week. There's a lot of dumb people doing a lot of dumb stuff. But I picked this one. Ariel Contreras, 33, broke into a car and left his pair of big, fake, Incredible Hulk green hands behind.
Oh, yeah, I like those.
I don't understand why. He broke into a car in Washington State.
I don't know why he had them with him.
Somebody spotted him, confronted him, so he ran, but he left his giant Incredible Hulk hands behind. They were attached to the steering wheel. I think he was doing this so they couldn't get fingerprints. The car owner says the Hulk hands were not there before the robbery. Officers tracked him down a few blocks away. He was arrested for vehicle prowling and possession of stolen property. I have a friend that had some of those, and he took those and hollowed out the inside and made it a giant koozie for his beer.
Now they sell them like that.
Do they? Yeah, we had a friend that
you can buy them.
Maybe he invented those. Do you think he invented them?
I don't know. It's pretty cool.
All I know is it was funny because he'd be at a party and he's taking a drink of a regular beer, but he has this gigantic green,
Yeah, it was
Hulk
pretty
hand.
cool.
So apparently other people saw that and said, we got to make some money on this. I got a link to this story online at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Your credit score really matters when it comes to credit cards, home loans, and car loans. It makes a big difference in whether or not you qualify for the best rates or even get the loan. But did you know that your credit score can also affect the price when you get your insurance too? Many people never even check their credit score, but sadly, errors happen all the time. CreditRepair800.com would like to help you repair your credit and make sure you have the best possible credit score. Get the details on how our program works at CreditRepair800.com. That's CreditRepair800.com.
Coming up, we're going to get some good news, and I just want to take a little moment here to say thank you to my beautiful bride, Heidi, for keeping me loaded with good news for the last couple of days.
See, and you said the only stuff that shows up on my news feed is naughty
Well,
things.
usually it is. You get 10,000 naughty things a day and one good thing.
But I get way more good news than you do, apparently, because you never have any.
No, I don't play on Facebook as much as I used to. So I'm on there. It's like business only for me these
Yeah,
days.
it is.
Seriously. I'm like, I got no time for this.
Whatever.
Except
Oh, my
for
God.
Every time you look at
We're
me,
sitting
what are you doing?
In the studio,
Facebook.
every time I look at you, I'm like, don't you have work you could be doing? Because you're always on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I was just looking for some good news. Sure you are. I think that's why she started sending it to me. She's like, okay, would you please quit playing on Facebook? But when I'm playing, I can call it work because I'm looking for good news. Good news. We've got your good news coming up.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I've got some good news for you. This is actually a really cool true story about Mark Wahlberg. He was born to a working-class family. His father was a driver. At age 13, he dropped out of school. He began making his living on the streets. Now, when you're 13 and you're making your living on the streets, It's not a good thing. He turned at age 14 to selling drugs and stealing cars. By the time he was 16, he was already charged with attempted murder, and he was jailed for assault. He has a quote that says, "When I began my life of crime, the voices in my head always told me that I was going to end up in jail." This is Mark Wahlberg. This guy is a huge actor now.
Yeah, he is. He's so talented. Both him and his brother are very, very, very talented guys.
He hit rock bottom. He said, "I was locked up with guys that I wanted to be like, but then I realized I never wanted to be like them." Soon, things began to change. It was when he made this decision that, hey, I don't want to do this. And I don't want to be a bad guy. I want to be a good guy.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, he's had some major movies. He's been involved in music. Remember back in the day, it was Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch?
Yeah, I do.
Things began to change, though, when he made his mind up to change, and he told the street gang he was leaving them forever. And he had some serious fights with the gang over this. They did not want him to leave. They did not want him to go away. But he started working hard to make a place in the music industry, and he did okay, but he didn't do as well as he wanted to do. News started to spread about his criminal past, and there were a lot of people that thought, well, this is the end of him. His career started like spiraling towards negative things, like, well, he's not going to make it because this guy used to be a bad guy. Well, that did not stop Mark Wahlberg. He took a chance, and he decided, I'm going to focus on acting. And now he is one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood. Transformers, Ted 2, The Italian Job, many giant movies that he's been able to do, and he's earned all kinds of respect. And there are a lot of people that know him that just say he's one of the best guys too.
Oh, super nice. And he's incredibly religious.
Yeah.
I read another story about him that says that he goes to the church at 5 o'clock every morning and prays to the Catholic Church.
Well, here's my favorite quote here. He says, "If you're lucky enough to get a second chance, don't waste it."
That's right.
Absolutely true. And there are times that you make bad decisions, but if you can rectify that and get back on the straight and narrow, look what it did for Mark Wahlberg.
And he also had all of his tattoos covered up, like taken off, removed, and he made his children go with him to watch that so that they could see how painful it is, and so they would make better decisions for themselves. He's just a neat
I've
guy.
got a link to the video that Heidi shared with me, and I just kind of narrated the video as we were just talking there. But you can check it out and get more details because I, of course, had to skim through it, as I always do with our good news. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. You can see that good news at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.